Okay, so for centuries, right, like literally centuries, people have been trying to figure out how eels reproduce.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even Aristotle
Yeah.
and Freud were totally stumped by it.
Oh, yeah. They really had no idea.
It's kind of wild, right?
Yeah, it is.
So today we are going deep
Yeah.
into eel reproduction.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be looking at all of the latest scientific research.
Yeah, the latest and greatest.
So what's really interesting about eels
Right off the bat.
is that they have what's called a catadromous life cycle.
You got it.
So unlike salmon,
Which everybody
which most people know about,
knows about.
where they migrate from saltwater to freshwater to spawn,
Yeah.
eels actually,
Do the opposite.
they live in freshwater,
Yeah.
and then they go to the ocean to reproduce.
They make these huge journeys
Yeah,
out to the ocean.
it's incredible.
It is.
And especially now with all the threats that eels are facing,
Oh, yeah.
it's even more important
Yeah,
for
but
us to understand
how they reproduce
their reproduction so we can do our part.
to help conserve them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not easy to study
No.
because they spawn in the deep sea.
Yeah.
And they make these long migrations.
Yeah, it's really tricky.
It is.
Yeah.
So generally what happens is that they mature in fresh water,
Right.
and then they undergo this transformation called silvering,
Yeah.
where they basically prepare themselves
Yeah.
for their journey to the ocean.
It's like they put on their little wetsuits
Like, it's
to
like
go
fire.
to their spawning grounds.
In
And then
Then the big event,
the main event.
spawning,
Yeah.
the females release just massive numbers of eggs.
Huge.
External fertilization occurs.
Wow.
And then, remarkably, the adult eels die.
Wow.
It's a one-time,
One and done.
one and done reproductive event.
That is incredible.
It is.
And so while that general pattern
It's common.
is common to most
It's a
areas.
lot of variation.
Oh, really?
Different eel species have their own kind of unique adaptations.
So like take their spawning grounds.
Right.
Like
right.
it's not just one big eel party
No, not at all.
out in the middle of the ocean.
There are
Or different spots.
distinct areas.
Yeah.
So, for example, the Sargasso Sea
Yeah.
is the spawning ground for European and American eels.
Okay.
Then you have waters west of the Mariana Islands
Uh-huh.
for Japanese and giant mottled eels.
I got it.
Near Tonga for New Zealand, longfin eels,
Yeah.
and north of Madagascar
Uh-huh.
for southern African eels.
That's amazing.
And some Pacific species
Yeah.
might even spawn way down near the Marianas Trench.
Oh, wow. That's so deep.
It's really deep.
So not just different locations,
Yeah.
but even the timing of when they spawn is different.
Right. So, for
Uh-huh.
instance, Japanese eels
Okay.
seem to synchronize their spawning
Uh-huh.
with the new moon in May or June.
Oh, wow.
So that tight synchrony
Yeah.
really probably helps maximize fertilization success.
That makes sense.
Right.
So they're all there at the same time, hopefully finding each other,
Exactly.
whereas giant mottled eels.
Might have a broader spawning period.
Interesting.
And we also see differences
Yeah.
in the size
Okay.
that they reach at maturity.
Uh-huh.
And there are even hints that some species might engage in group spawning.
Oh, that would be really cool to see.
It would be fascinating.
All right, so let's talk about a specific type of eel,
Okay.
the European eel.
Abiela. Anguilla.
Yeah, anguilla.
Latin name.
So these guys have a really cool life cycle.
Yeah. Transatlantic.
Transatlantic.
They migrate to the Sargasso Sea
Uh-huh.
between August and December.
Okay.
And they spawn during the winter months.
Got it.
Their larvae, which are called leptocephali.
Leptocephali.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
They kind of look like
Yeah.
tiny see-through leaves drifting in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
They're fascinating.
Oh, that's really cool.
So they drift for 1 to 3 years
Wow.
via the Gulf Stream
Okay.
to get back to Europe.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
upon reaching the European coast,
Uh-huh.
they metamorphose into glass eels
Right.
and then elvers
Okay.
as they move upstream
Uh-huh.
into freshwater.
So they change a lot
Yeah.
during their journey.
They really do.
That's wild.
And then they can spend
Yeah.
many years as yellow eels
Oh, wow.
before undergoing silvering
Right.
and making the return migration.
Got it.
And what's really interesting about European eels
Yeah.
is that they represent one large
How?
interbreeding population across their range.
Wow. So they're all kind of mixing it up.
Basing it up.
Okay. So then we've got the American eel,
Anguilla rostrata.
Anglo rostrata. Very similar,
Yeah,
but slightly different.
slightly different.
So they also migrate to the Sargasso Sea,
They do.
but a little bit west
Yeah, a little bit less.
of where the European eels go.
Of the European eels.
And they're spawning.
Happens a little later, from February to July.
Got it.
They also produce fewer eggs,
Interesting.
and their leptocephaly drift for a shorter period,
Okay.
7 to 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
towards North America.
Gotcha.
And while the transformations are similar,
Yeah.
the yellow eel stage tends to be longer
Okay.
for American eels.
Got it.
And there are even these subtle
Yeah.
anatomical differences,
Okay.
like in the number of vertebrae,
Wow.
highlighting their shared but separate
Yeah.
evolutionary paths.
That's really neat.
It is.
So I'm really curious, like, how did scientists even figure out
Yeah.
where these eels are spawning?
That's a great question.
How did they find these locations?
It's like this incredible feat of detective work.
Really? Yeah.
So a scientist named Ernst Johannes Schmidt,
Okay.
he spent decades
Wow.
working in the Sargasso Sea.
Yeah.
And that was really crucial
Okay.
for us to understand Atlantic eels.
Uh-huh.
He systematically collected progressively smaller larvae. And by doing that, he was able to trace their origins back.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
So he's like following
Yeah, he's following the trail.
the breadcrumbs.
Exactly.
And for Japanese eels,
Yeah.
scientists actually collected eggs
Yeah, they collected eggs,
near the West Mariana Ridge.
which provided direct evidence.
Oh, wow. So they actually found
The eggs.
the eggs. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
But it's true
Yeah.
that for many species,
Yeah.
we still don't know exactly.
The precise spawning behaviors
Yeah.
and locations remain a mystery.
It's incredible.
It is.
So let's talk a little bit more about those leptocephalies.
Yeah.
They're so unique.
They're bizarre looking.
They really are.
They're transparent,
Yeah.
leaf-shaped.
They got those big teeth.
Yeah, they have these surprisingly large,
Yeah.
almost comical fang-like teeth.
For such a little guy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they have this thing called a mucinous pouch, which is basically like a little built-in snack bag.
Oh, wow.
Although we're not entirely sure
Right.
what its exact purpose is.
So they're just carrying around snacks.
They're carrying around
It's a
snacks.
little kangaroo pouch.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
It is pretty funny.
So their transparency
Yeah.
probably helps them camouflage
Yeah.
out in the open ocean.
Right in the open ocean.
Makes it harder for predators to see them.
Exactly.
And they mostly drift with ocean currents,
They do.
but they can also swim.
Yeah, they can swim a little bit.
Interesting.
And then they go through this remarkable
Yeah.
series of metamorphoses.
It's like a whole makeover montage.
It really is.
So first they're leptocephaly,
Yeah.
and then they shrink and become cylindrical and become glass eels.
Yeah.
Then they gain pigmentation and become elvers.
Uh-huh.
Then they grow in freshwater and become yellow eels.
Yellow
And then finally,
then.
they become sexually mature silver eels.
Yeah.
Ready to make that big journey
Back to the ocean.
back to the ocean to spawn.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
So it's like they're built for a completely different environment
That's
at every single stage.
Different environments at each stage.
It's incredible.
It is.
And speaking of the environment,
Right.
it plays a huge role in
Absolutely.
their reproduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like water temperature
Yeah.
influences their maturation when they spawn, how the larvae develop, and their
Yeah.
migration.
All those things.
Yeah, salinity is really important for their egg quality.
Yeah.
And sadly, pollutants like heavy metals
You're messing up.
can really wreak havoc on their system.
Absolutely.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it is.
And then on top of all of that,
Yeah.
you've got all these other threats,
Cool, buddy.
like habitat loss from dams,
Yeah.
overfishing, parasites,
Yeah.
climate change, messing with ocean currents,
And temperatures.
pollution.
Yeah.
There's even plastic
Oh, yeah.
in the Sargasso Sea.
A huge amount of plastic.
That can hurt them.
Yeah.
And the harvesting of sargassum seaweed beds,
Yeah, which is,
they rely on.
yeah, they rely on. So it's a really,
It's a global challenge
Yeah.
that really requires international cooperation.
we all need to work together to
Uh,
try and help them.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
The long
The
migration,
elusive spawning,
that bizarre larval stage.
the dramatic transformations.
It's really incredible.
It all points to this extraordinarily complex life cycle.
It really does. And it just makes you wonder,
Yeah,
like, what else don't we know?
right.
I mean, given the epic scale of their journey
Yeah,
and all of the environmental hurdles
yeah,
that they have to overcome,
right.
what other secrets might the eel's life cycle
Yeah,
still hold about the health of our oceans
it's a great question.
and our freshwater systems?
It is.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
Every time I think about it,
Every-
I'm just like, wow. Yeah, they're amazing creatures.
They really are.
They are.